Hello students, in this tutorial I am going to introduce you to the Photoshop and the interface that is Photoshop. The first thing that you will do is to open up Photoshop on your computer. I'm going to go ahead and I'm working in Windows 10, and I'm going to go ahead and go down into my Windows icon and find my Photoshop CC 2018. After I have opened my Photoshop program, I am then going to show you some of the parts of this particular interface that we're going to be using for this semester. You're going to notice that the very first thing that's going to come up is going to be projects that I have been working on within my Photoshop. I'm going to go ahead and create a new project. When I create a new project, it is going to give me some options of the style of project that I would like to create. Is it going to be something that is photo related, print related, art and illustration related, something that is web, used for the web, used for mobile devices, or finally film and video? In most cases, we're going to strictly be working in photo or print. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a 7x5 option that is here. I have it as a recent item that I've used. If you do not see any options for you here, you can create your own. You can title it if you want to. I just consider this Title 1. I work in inches, but Photoshop does work in other components such as pixels, and we've talked about pixels in a previous presentation. Inches, centimeters, millimeters, points, and picas. For our references, points and picas we don't usually use. This would be something that if you were more advanced into Photoshop, we would talk about those in a more advanced course. I'm going to work in inches. For me, it's just what I can visualize the best in. So I can visualize a 7x5 item, 7 inches in width, 5 by inches in height. I can always change that width and height of my project later, but in this case I'm going to leave it. The last thing that I'm going to be looking at is this background. In my background, I'm going to go ahead and choose, and we usually have a choice of the style of background that we want to work in. For this one, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just say it's the white background that we're going to use, and I'm going to go and click Create. What that does is it creates a brand new empty 5x7 piece. Now, I want to stick away from calling this a canvas because it's not really a canvas that we're working in. When we start to work in Illustrator, I'll probably be using that word canvas more, but in Photoshop, this is just really the piece that we're working on. So if we brought a photo in, it would be the same piece. And in our more advanced tutorials, we'll talk about that. So once we bring in this piece that we're working on, we can then bring in other components. If we go under Window, it's going to show me a list of properties that I can see. It also gives me default properties that automatically come up. My favorite properties to have are going to be a property of history, a property of layers, and a property of swatches. History will tell me exactly what I've been doing in my piece, and we'll kind of go back and forth with that with some of your projects and assignments that we do. Layers shows me the different layers. In Photoshop, this is the one layer that I'm working in. They automatically go with that first layer as the background. Note that there is a little lock here. That means that there's nothing that I can really do in this until I unlock that particular piece. And then it changes it to layer 0. On the side panel here, we're going to have some tools. There's a move tool, a rectangular selection tool, which also includes an elliptical selection tool, a single row selection tool, and a single column. There is the lasso tool, the polygon lasso tool that we use. There's also a quick selection tool and a magic wand tool, as well as a cropping tool, a dropper, a spot healing, and some other tools that we will learn as we go along. The tools that you find here on your left-hand side are going to be those most used major go-to tools in Photoshop. The first piece that we're going to be working in Photoshop is going to be working with the selection tool. It is the most used tool in Photoshop, and that will be what your next assignment is. That is going to conclude this introduction to the interface of Photoshop. We will learn more about the ribbon style up here on top, and of course each one of the tools on the side and what they have to do in future assignments. If you have any questions on this or any future assignments, remember to feel free to send me an email or come into my office to talk about what your issues are. Have a great day.